Yeah, design thinking process. So design thinking process is always my favorite, right? So everyone, like I always say, design is not just for product designers. You need to be able to think like a designer. When you see designs, even if it's not your design, look at it and then say if it's good or not, right? So you start thinking now, and we're going to go through some of the topic under design thinking process. And the first one is empathy, right? The design thinking process is a human-centered approach to problem solving and innovation and emphasizes empathy, creativity, collaboration, and iteration. So, emphasis, the first stage involves understanding and emphasizing with the needs, motivation, and experiences of the user or stakeholders for whom the solution is being designed for, right? You need to conduct research, interviews, observation, and empathy exercises to gain insight into user behavior, pain points, challenges, and aspiration, right? Develop empathy maps, user personas, and journey map to capture and synthesize user insight. So you don't just start designing because you're asked to design, right? You need to think, whom am I designing for? What's the main point? What's the pain point? Why are we trying to build a dispatch rider and have a rider? Is it because most of the dispatch riders you need to call them on phone manually or you need to text them? Why? Who are the kind of people that normally likes this kind of services, right? So you need to think deep. This is where user research um, will play a good role. So even if you're not doing a design, even if you're just doing a presentation, just a PowerPoint, what are the kind of people you're presenting your presentation to? Are they actually people? Are they children? Right? If you're making a presentation that will be used in schools, of course, it depends on the kind of school, the level of the people that will look at your presentation. Then you start designing, right? You don't just jump into design. If you're going for a very serious presentation where you're going to be dealing with real numbers, of course, you know you want to add a lot of charts, you want to add a lot of analysis, report sheets, and all that. That's not the time you want to use comic fonts, right? That's not the time you want to use comic fonts. So you really need to understand what you're doing and emphasize on the main point and the main strategy you're going to use. The next one is definition. You need to define. The second stage focuses on defining the problem or opportunity based on the insight gathering during the emphasis stage, right? Clarity, articulate the problem statements, objective goals, and constraints to ensure a shared understanding among team members, right? And also, you need to reframe the problem from the user's perspective and find opportunities for innovation and value creation. It means, in as much as you're trying to be a product designer and you're trying to implement your skill, it is very important to also act like you are the owner of the product. Right? You need to think. You need to get into the shoes of the end users, how they feel, right? How they'll feel using your product and all that. So these are very important. Also, ideate. In the ideation process, you generate a wide range of creative ideas and potential solutions to address the defined problems of opportunity, thinking to explore multiple possibilities. Um, I know of someone um, that I've worked with. Um, the solution or what they were trying to build was like, let me say, just let me three solutions. And then she ended up making it five solutions, right? So it is very important, even as a product designer, think ahead of time, right? We're not saying that you would do more than what you're being asked to design, but even when you're being asked to design a particular thing, you should think of ideas a better way, right? A better way of making your idea or solution to be more user friendly and all that. So thinking to explore multiple possibilities is very important. Prototype, of course. You need to have an idea of how this works in real life. That's one of the beauty of product design is that even when a product is not even, the developers have not even seen, or they are not even aware of what they're about to build, but the product designer can make the owner or the client feel like this app is already ready to go, right? So the prototype stage involves transforming selected ideas into tangible and testable prototype, which can be low fidelity or high fidelity depending on the level of details that is required. Again, use prototyping to materials and techniques to create mock-ups, wireframe models, or simulation that represent the proposed solution. So I'll also be showing you at least one of the tools, which is in this our case, we'll be using Figma, and how to use it to make like some of the prototype. Even if what you're trying to build is just simple, it's just simple. Like I use Figma to the extent that even if all I want to do is a Power BI dashboard, maybe two dashboard, I start the process. I start from Figma to see how it looks and how I feel the dashboard will look, and then it will help me to guide me in making the final design on the Power BI project more easy, right? So that's one of the beauty of the prototyping. Then we have the testing phase, right? In the testing stage, gather feedback, insight, and validation from users, stakeholders, or target audience members by testing the prototypes, right? If you design something, you want to know how it looks on phone, you want to see if the buttons are visible enough, if they are too close to each other, you want to see if the profile picture, the way it's aligned is okay. And the beauty about the testing is that because of the kind of tools we have available, you can test on any kind of device. You just need to pick the device, and it's so accurate that whatever you see in your testing, it's the same way you see even in real life, on depending on the devices, right? And just like I would always say, if you're going to be designing something, like when there's this Samsung food, right? When the Samsung food came initially, Instagram was not optimized for it, right? So when you open Instagram, it's so boring because it expands, right? But if you're going to be building, you want to add a tab where you want to, just in case people who are using the food start using your kind of product, how will it look? Don't worry about how it will happen. Just make your design. Developers know how to make the responsiveness respond to it, right? As long as you use responsive design way approach, and then you design your app, it will definitely come out well. So the testing is very important. Conduct usability testing, user interview, surveys, and observation to evaluate the effectiveness, usability, and desirability of the solution. It's very important. You test, then implement. Depending on the contents and scope of the project, the design thinking process may also include an implementation stage where the finalized solution is implemented, launched, and scaled, right? Collaborate with stakeholders, developers, and other teams to implement the solution, monitor its performance, and gather further feedback for continuous improvement. So the product designer goes nowhere. It is very important. If you package your product design, like your design project properly, yes, the developers will be able to work with that. But if you're still in the same location, it is good that you still go through what is being developed, and also you see the live product and see where you can improve and all that, or where you can update, add more things in, and all that. Iteration. Design thinking is an iterative process that encourages continuous learning, of course, adaptation and refinement based on feedback, new insights, and evolving needs. So it's a continuous process. Iterate on the solution, incorporating learnings from testing and implementation to ensure ongoing innovation, relevance, and user satisfaction. Thank you. With this, we've come to the end.